Hello and welcome to the week 2 recap of Young Cup. And I know this is very late, but well, whatever, it's here finally. But yeah, for this week we had Sea Jumps by .c. This map was not randomly rolled for this week, but instead we picked it and it was released along with the week. So no one had really seen this map before the start of this week. So, and one thing to note about this is that when you make an easy map, especially a lot easier than your skill level, it's very easy to make a few mistakes where jumps you think are easy or things you think are easy are a bit too hard, which ended up here with a few things was a bit too unnecessarily hard, not too much, but a few things, and then there was made a day 2 update to try and fix this. So, but yeah, that update was mainly aimed at fixing things that was a bit too hard and didn't really affect main route too much, and both runs set on the old and the new version was allowed, but in the end I think all runs is set on the updated version, which makes sense because it is a bit faster. But yeah, let's go to the side here and see. So, made by C, it's a normal map this, but made with infinite stamina, and this map is built around the idea that you can have combos for part of the maps throughout, so you can chain like 5 to 6 jumps or just a few jumps. It varies between the different sections, but yeah, and then you have something that breaks at either teleporter or kind of a grab section or something that, well, something that just breaks the combo for it. So create a jump there, at least don't have to combo the full map in one go, which would be really difficult, but even so this map has a very high skill ceiling, and you can definitely see this on the times that gonna have quite a bit of skill gaps or time gaps, I mean, between it. So, but yeah, it was a fun map, and the map is really good, I would say. But I think I speak for the most people when I say that I don't really want to see this map again for quite a while. But yeah, let's go down and watch some of the totals. So, at first place we have Stupz with a 2 minute 30 second and 240 millisecond times, and Killer just behind with 600 milliseconds behind. In third place we have Shirds with, which is almost 3 seconds behind. Then we can see quite a big gap down to Lag and Flero, which is almost 10 seconds more behind, and almost another 10-second gap down to 6th place. And you can see this time drop down quite quickly here, and 10 times we're 1 minute time behind, even though it's not a bad run at all. So definitely difficult map to keep up and get those fastest times on. And the total amount of runs is 24, so one more than last week. So was able to keep up with a lot of good runs and a lot of people joining in. So yeah, and before we move on to the inform, I also want to go and give a special award for this week too. I gave one last week for the most clutch run, and for this one I'm gonna go for the most missing run, because .c didn't run his own map. He had us torture ourselves on his map without running, so yeah, definitely not a good thing. Keep running your own maps. And yeah, let's go one more here, one new button, show record history, which shows the world record history, though this wasn't properly implemented until the end of this week, or properly I mean implemented like automatically storing. So all these times you see here automatically grabbed, and it's missing some times or not accurately. I know that there were records before, so this is the first log where it's a 4-minute time by Albans, but there were times before. I think I may have been the first to finish a run of this map with 60-minute run or something. Maybe wrong about that, but I have a memory of that. But there you can see it start here at 4-minute times first logged here. Albans keep lowering it down to a low 3-minute run. Then I get one quick world record, which is my only on here. Shows then Legtronic keeps start lowering it. Stupz goes in a little bit, but yeah, Leg keeps lowering it down to a 2 minute 30 times. Then Sheer joins in, I think this is, yeah. And this is 2:25 is the infamous out of bounds, or rather on top of the wall run, which ended up finding a bit of a skip, but in the end it was the only run that used this, because the further runs here uses the inbounds runs. So even though it was talked about a bit as a problem, or if it should be updated, which wasn't really possible, because updating a map to slow down or remove a route means that you have to delete runs made, and since it's not against the rule set, we don't really want to delete runs from the event, so that's not really possible to do for those that talked about fixing and removing runs made with that. That's not possible to do for an event like this, unless you set beforehand the rule that you can't go out of bounds, which wasn't made for this. So yeah, but yeah, he keep lowering it. Then I think this is Stupz here. They keep lowering it here. Where Killer jumps in at the end of the event week, and he sets the first sub 220 to run. Then he and Stupz keep trading runs throughout the end until the final worked run at the low 13 minute 2:13. But yeah, with that, let's watch some run. And for this week, I plan to start on with a third place run by Shirds instead, because this run goes down very quickly and it's going to be hard to explain the route. And I'm going to show a split screen comparison between Stupz and Killer instead. So yeah, this first section of this map is about to keep a long combo here. It's a long straight, and I want to keep just one big combo and build as much speed as possible. So, and it's quite easy to orient when you're going at this higher speed. So you can see they do some things like sliding platforms to avoid orienting here, and they build up as much speed into this section here. I think they even skip that platform here. They don't just go directly for a wall jump into the platform. I did a wall jump there instead on one of the platform. And then you have this section here, which is the first breakpoint into a, I think, intended skip here, where you can wall jump on this here, then go and hit this booster. And then we have, for the second part of the combo here, you keep the speed you get from the booster up here, go through it, stay on top of the level, then do the section, a slide off the void and orient there and get a no grab. You want to no grab as many of these grabs as possible. Here you see a bit of a skip for this section. You're supposed to take a loop to gain more speed before you do this. Another no grab into this, take the speed directly out from the teleporter to get more starting speed into this. So these are two just non-combo section. Down for the third combo section here, keep this straight throughout that section, building up as much speed as possible throughout this straight section here. Come up here is going to have one of the more important skips for going over this ramp to keep as much speed as possible throughout this section here. And then going down here to the final or second last teleporter and the final big long combo section. Here by the section where it could go out of bounds, but instead it's ended up being faster to keep inbounds. Even though you have some slowdowns, you don't have to avoid with doing slow section and going out of bounds. But yeah, this is a long section just to build up speed for this next two jumps, which are the hard part of keeping this combo here. And she does one of a bit harder version of this combo, and he, as you can see, looks forward a lot here, because one, you need to slow down, and two, you really need to control where you go, so you can't really keep building speed there. And then we have the final jump here, which is quite easy for the run in comparison, because yeah, there's not too much going on here. But yeah, you want to grab the top grab here, which she does a small mistake. You'll lose a few seconds off, but yeah, still a good run. Fair place, so GG's. And for the top two runs, I made a comparison video here with the split screen. So we have Stupz on the left in red and Killer on the right in blue. So yeah, let's start this run. So you can immediately see here that Stupz hit the start trigger later on the platform by hitting the corner better than Killer, and immediately gains quite a bit of an advantage. He also gains a bit more speed throughout this beginning section, which further builds his start advantage, so he takes quite a bit of a lead instantly in this run. Though Killer gains back a little bit of here, because he keeps some higher speed throughout this section here, if I remember correct. Not too much though, but yeah, small gain here. And they don't stop on that platform in this climb section, but instead instantly go for the wall jumps to go up faster. Hit this booster and go for the same combo here, or skip here into this combo, this section. So there's not too much of a time gain or lost in this section between them. It keeps kind of even. Though they go for different side. Killer go for a cross on this full double cross here, whereas Stupz go for a single cross. So for this section, you can see they go for different version of the skips, and I think Killer's gains back a little bit of time, those they are kind of similar. To what I can say gains back speed though for Killer a lot of times on the start is how he enters the teleporter connector. Stupz is way more careful how he walks into the teleporter and loses time on basically all teleport entrances compared to Killer gains back. Also this section here, Killer's gonna build up a bit more speed throughout this section and be able to keep higher speed here. He doesn't need to do the mini slide that I think Stupz did, and keeps almost 200 more speed throughout this end of that section. So then for the final big combo section here, Killer almost caught up, and he I think gains a little bit more speed throughout all the small things here, and actually goes into the lead here. So here's the first lead change. Stupz gained a huge advantage instantly, and starting Killer finally caught up and actually passed him. You can notice clearly on this ice platform here that Killer had quite a lead. Then he goes for a different version of this skip, or combo here, not skip, and ends up losing quite a bit of time, and Stupz actually takes the lead here, But then he has a really slow teleport entrance and Killers gains back all that lead again, and they're basically neck and neck into the final jump here. Go for different version of this, but they end up being basically the same, I think. These both versions, it looks like they basically tie the end, but in the end, it's Stupz gains a small victory with just 600 milliseconds. So GG's, really cool run, and watching this side by side, you can definitely see how they trade off speed and the small mistakes and small things, and actually also shows how much more you can gain on this map still, because you can see how they both keep losing and gaining time on each other. So it's a really cool run to watch like this, I think. Yeah, let's move on. For this final thing I wanted to showcase is not actually a run, but rather just the other bounce route you can take. And it's just going to show that route, not a full run on this. So this is a demo performed by Stupz, shared just for this. So let's watch this. So here we have the beginning of the jump 15, and what normally you have to do a combo here, but instead of doing the combo, you do 3 volumes, get on top of this to then also get on top of this roof. And most of these roofs are clipped with slick blocks, so you can't get on top of them. But yeah, this section he didn't properly add the slick, so you could get on top of this section here. And what you can do, what's gains here, so it loses times getting on top, but afterwards you keep gaining time back by being able to do this non-stop and not losing speed. Then you stay on top of these slick clips there's on top here and keep building up speed so you can get quite a bit of speed. Though you can see here he doesn't drop down properly in the end and ended up losing a bit having walk back. But if you time that teleport entrance, who knows, maybe that route could have been faster if you done it optimally, but it's hard to say.